Hi there, this is Snow City Tarot. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, welcome. My name is Liz. I'm a professional tarot reader and astrologer on and off of YouTube. If you're interested in getting your own personalized guidance with me in the form of a tarot reading or astrology report, you can find those in my shop down in my description box below. So today's reading, we'll be looking at the month of March 2022. I will be breaking down the month week by week, and I will give you a brief overview of the global energies affecting you this month, as well as a detailed look at what March has in store for you specifically. So I have 3 options for you to choose from today. This is option 1, 2, and 3. I want you to take a deep breath, ask your guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, gods, goddesses, whoever it is that you call upon for help. And I want you to ask them, what does March 2022 have in store for me? So if you need to take a minute to make this decision, or if you need to just pause to get your head clear before you pick, you can pause the video. That's okay. But you could close your eyes and do a little bit of a deep breathing kind of mini meditation in order to kind of focus your energies in the right place. And then when you open your eyes, you can pick one of these options here. When you've made your selection, you can go down into the description box below and click on the timestamps down there. That's where we've got them. So you can be taken directly to your reading. So with that said, I'm going to start with group 1 here. Hi, group 1. This is for those of you that picked this crystal cluster. This is your reading. So what I'm seeing here, so this is week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So that's how I'm going to start with this. So this first week here, this is kind of, where we're at the moment. So hopefully it's not coming too late, but you can also see if whether or not this is making sense for you already. But so for this week, there's going to be a lot of energies on a global level. It's going to be very, and when I say global, like the general energies that are on your head right now from the stars. Basically, this is going to be making the people around you very intense, very, at times threatening. And you can kind of, you and everybody around you could be at this weird energy where you just want to get everything you want at all costs. You want to win every fight. You want to take all the riches. You have serious and just intense discussions just all around, no matter what it is that you're discussing. It may seem like everybody's kind of got a very heavy gloom about them. And we can thank this Saturn-Mercury conjunction for that. But there's this general just intensity from Mars, Venus, and Pluto being in conjunction in Capricorn. And so this creates this very like mine, me, mine, I want, I'm going to get, I will have, and it's this very like I will type of energy, like where it's not an option. No is not an option. Failure is not an option. And so that energy that, of course, you've seen globally, like in the world events, is also being applied to you in the situations in your life too. So, that can be a really big factor here. Another big thing that's coming around is we got Sun and Jupiter. So there's really big thoughts, a big ego, a me-centered thinking. People could be pushing their ideologies on you. They could be really pushing it though, because they think that it's right, or they know it's right. Or, there's just this absolute total belief that, they are correct. They are, absolute. That's basically the only way to say it, is they are absolutely correct. It's just absolutely a fact. So that's the energy that you're getting this week. And for you personally, maybe this comes in a message that's being sent over to you, because we have the Page of Pentacles here. And then we also have Mercury and Gemini. So together we've got some kind of communication that's coming in. And it could be, depending on who it is and who is looking at it, it could be good news, it could be bad news, or it could just be saying that you're going to be communicating with other people quite a lot about ground level, real world things. This isn't talking about philosophies, really. This isn't talking about, hypotheticals or beautiful things. It's not talking about casual, fun things either. It's very practical, down to earth, straightforward type of discussions. It could potentially be about money, and it could be sort of educational, but maybe not in like the fun, we're watching Dora the Explorer to learn Spanish type of educational, but more like I'm watching C-SPAN, something like that. There's just a very heavy energy about the world this week. That's pretty, honestly, it's pretty hard for everybody. Let me take any more details. Can I get a card for detail about what this is going to be for this month? For this week, I'm sorry. Okay, so for some of you, this could be fighting up against somebody too, or this could be you yourself in this energy. It really depends on everybody's situation. But for some of you, it could be somebody who's really pushing you. And we've got Aries energy here. So this is someone who could be very, war focused, very violence focused. Perhaps for some of you, you're getting, news articles or content that could be very war focused, and it could make you, feel one way or the other. For those of you, this could be you sharing this information to other people, and that could be something that's really on your mind. Maybe you're trying to get people to speak with you, or you're getting people to kind of like get educated or learn up on a situation, regardless of what topic it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be current event related. But this could just be in general, people you're working with just maybe you guys don't feel like you're on the same page, or, so they're going to be educating you and you're going to be educating them. And there's going to be a lot of discussions. But because of Mercury and Gemini, this is debates. This could be some kind of debate we're seeing here, or argument, more like an argument. So this isn't something that, it doesn't seem like a good energy to be in. I mean, it's not like it's bad, but it's just a heavy energy for you. So you might have to actually take a break, and maybe even take a little bit of a social media detox. Maybe try to step away from the phone or the computer. Let me see if I can get any more details here for this first week. Oops, pipe. Okay. Well, maybe okay. Hang on. I'm like grabbing things before I'm ready to take them. So we've got this pipe and we've got this scissors. This could be talking about removing something, eliminating something, perhaps out of vanity, or for a reason that's not necessarily necessary, like a petty reason, like I'm going to get rid of that person because they're embarrassing me every day and I just can't deal with it. Or I'm going to cut that person out of my life because I don't like what they have to say, or I don't like the way they think. That type of energy could be kind of prevalent here, but you want to be careful not to really give into this, because it can kind of be like, it could be just the nature of the week that's making everybody feel a little bit more hostile than usually. One more. Leo. Yes. Pride, leadership, the me, the ego, that's kind of one of these energies that Leo can be in. So it can be very much, your decisions this week could be very focused on how you feel personally, and how things make you feel, like make your ego feel too. So I would say this isn't the best time to be making any kind of decisions, because they could be a little bit more rash, I guess. If you're someone who's feeling like, personally affected by the things going on in your life to the point where you feel like you're being attacked, this may be saying that you should step back and, get off of social media for just a little bit. And you should be kind of, able to even out until you can think a little bit clearer. And then if you want to make these eliminations, you can. You'll be in a better energy to do that. So let's move on to week 2. So week 2, this is the week of the 6th through the 12th. 6th through 12th, and we have the Hierophant and we have decisions. This is Mars and Gemini. Notice that we have a lot of mercurial energy. We have Virgo, Gemini, Mercury right there. So there's like a lot of thinking and talking, especially we have an air sign here too, in Venus in Aquarius. This can also talk about just in general, there's a lot of thinking going on right now. So you could be quite busy in your head this whole month. But with this here, with this Hierophant and the indecision card, this can talk about, again, more arguments, more debates, more strategizing. Because we have the Hierophant here, this is still talking about your cultural beliefs, your principles, the things that you feel are always there in your life, the foundations of your culture in some ways. So there's this very strong energy that can still be quite argumentative, because and stubborn too. There's a real stubbornness to this because this Hierophant is represented by the sign of Taurus, which is sort of like unyielding, unwavering thoughts and discussions about your viewpoints. Or just, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, this can just be what you're wanting to talk about right now. So say people are pushing up against you about your religion or about your way of life. You can be really stern on and almost unyielding and not able to compromise in this. In fact, it's like you'll be willing to go to war for this or go to fight for this because we have this Mars and Gemini. Of course, we're talking about a verbal discussion, and I think that that's kind of what we're seeing. So it's still more of this energy here. Can I get a card to describe what's going on week 2 for group 1, please? We've got the Page of Wands. Okay, so, and this could be something too where, you get some news coming in that may not be like ideal. It could be pretty tough in regards to like maybe like a project, or you could be getting some kind of news about something that's maybe going to be initiated and moving in a certain direction that maybe you're just against. You could just be learning some new things, or you could be starting a new project, but say you just have some people that are up against you and just saying, well, no, I want to go in this direction, or I think it should be this color, or I think we should do this or that. So that's one of those things. Because Mercury enters Pisces on March 9th, it's a really good idea to give it some time to settle in the sign. Once it first enters there, we're at peak Mercury in Pisces mode. And Mercury, when it's in Pisces, is not in its greatest energy because Mercury likes precision. It likes detail. And Pisces likes foggy, lazy daisy, sort of like, oh, what's over here or what's over there? This is theoretical. I like this, like I'm going to play around with this imaginary, situation in my head. Maybe for some of you, you could be fighting shadows. You could be like shadow boxing with people in your head. Like, oh, well, if they said this, then I'll say that. And then I'll say this and then I'll say that. But, when it comes to it, if you guys actually face up, depending on who you are, it may not come out right. It may be kind of like garbled or not totally, you may have difficulty bringing the idea in your head into reality because Pisces is this sign of like imagination and the intangible. It's a much better time though for you to be working with your intuitive senses too at this time, because it's not, it's not gonna be precise, A goes to B, like it's like building a shelf, but all the stickers with like A, B and all the part labels wrong, that's gonna be kind of what it feels like. So but in your mind, you may be like, no, this totally makes sense. But like when you actually like maybe try to get into it with somebody, you're not really sure why things don't connect. Or when you have something to say about this project, you may not be able to get it out into into a real clear way of understanding it, so people are going to be kind of fuzzy. So let's see here. What else are we seeing here? We've got okay. I got a bunch here. That's funny. I'll just put these back because that's too many, but we've got Scorpio. We've got the little cup full of art supplies. So it's funny because I'm seeing crafts here. But there is this decision-making thing and executive sort of decision-making too, because we have this throne here. So altogether, though, we are seeing stubborn fixed energy. You may be discussing removing something for a lot of you, cutting something out, getting rid of something for maybe the good of all, or just cutting out trimming out the unnecessary things. But again, there is this energy of Scorpio here, which is quite defensive and will, sting you if you get up in its business and it doesn't want you there. So you could be quite, hurtful maybe with your words if this energy is not controlled. So, and you may even say things that you're feeling something first, you're not thinking about it first. So you might be feeling something first and then saying it second, but like not letting it translate into words. So, you could end up, having misfires when it comes to what you mean. And it could hurt people's feelings too. So you might want to just be very careful about that. But yeah, and you may want to try and let go of any feelings like you have to be right, because this isn't the time frame where you have all the facts. You may think you have all the facts, but you may not totally have all the information that you need to have. So just be careful, because Mercury and Pisces can create sort of like these shadows and illusions and things. So just keep that in mind. So when we go on to week 3, I'm going to move these back. Week 3, we've got this Queen of Pentacles, and then we also have the Saturn and Scorpio. This is inheritance, it says. So here, this possible that something could come to light where you are, inheriting or discussing something that you may have inherited from a female. This could potentially be your mother. If that's not the case, this could be representing you here in your most practical energy, talking about, for some of you, you may actually be focusing on a will, if that's something that you would be focused on at this point in time, if that's not unusual. For others, this could be you making practical decisions on where to set your boundaries, where to cut things out to. I think that this is going to be a big part here, and also setting up a sense, something that will give you a sense of security in your life. Maybe there's more arguments at home, perhaps, or something like that, or you're having arguments with this person. I'm seeing so much fighting here right now, but for the most part, though, with this one here, I think that this is a calmer period where you don't have to be too concerned about fighting, because maybe whatever happened here becomes settled in some way, and this is you kind of responding to it, making practical decisions to move forward. But you're looking out for yourself here. You're not necessarily gonna be giving away everything to everybody. You're gonna kind of be like locking yourself down, making sure that you have all the things that you need to have to keep yourself feeling secure. Can I get a card to clarify this situation for week 3 for group 1? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you're taking some kind of new action in order to do this. This is kind of like creating a bunker or something, but the thing is, there's a selfish energy to Scorpio. It's kind of like a, I have mine, everybody else can just, get lost. I'm going to take care of what I have. As long as I have my security and I'm okay, I'll be fine. It's a very survivalist sort of dire feeling. It's a very serious feeling. So, that could be something that, you might be dealing with, especially if you're feeling some kind of financial pinch right now. That would definitely be something where, if you're in survival mode, you may not be totally, you may not have yourself. It's like you want to keep track of yourself first before you take care of everyone else. And I think this is you doing this, but there's also like a sense of urgency to it, or not a sense of urgency, but a sense of, what's it called? Like, there's consequences if you don't do these things. So this could be something at work. You may be seeing that everybody's doing something, and maybe you need to, they all need help, but in the end, you may feel like you can't help them. You've got to work on your own things. So if you're all swamped at work, there could be plenty of fires to put out, and everyone's looking to you for the answers, but you may be like, no, right now I got to focus on what I'm doing so I can make sure that what I'm doing, the task I am focused on, is going to get done properly. So that's what I see with this. So I do see you taking action. I do think, though, because we have an ace here, this could say that you're going to be moving into a new phase in some way. You might be picking up a new thing, investing in something new. Maybe, I wouldn't say maybe not an investment, but I mean, if you do, it's based on a need to act. Like, this is much more compulsive than, say, the Ace of Pentacles, where you're like, oh yeah, I think I'll do an investment here or there. It'll be nice in the long run. This is more like, whoa, I got to do this now. I need to make things now. I got to manifest these things now. And for some of you too, because this is the 13th through the 19th, right? This is going to be the full moon in Virgo. which is probably why you are making these choices and decisions right now, because you're making sure that your work is detailed. You want to make sure that the things you're doing are going to add up in the end, because but the aim, though, again, is still to improve things. So taking care of yourself first, so you can take care of things with other people later, because this is a good energy for this week. I mean, you're going to feel like you want to make a difference, and you want to feel like your influence can improve things. So, it's all coming from a place of making things better. There is that, it's not totally selfish. There is this desire to make life better for everyone else. But you want to make it better for yourself first. But this can say that you have these efforts that you might have been doing back here. If you had something going on in this part of the month, you're going to start to see your efforts showing up here, because this talks about a time when things begin to manifest. So this is the new moon period, where you're kind of like putting in your effort to make something, growth, something, bring something into reality here. And this is that time frame when things will start to improve. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is it looks like you could be doing, a manifestation to improve a situation. And so you may be seeing the results of that here. Also, something that you may need to be careful with, though, is that around this time, you'll want to have some freedom in your relationships, friendships. You can have new ideas, but you can also be taking new risks, because we have Venus square Uranus on March 19th, which is the end of this week 3. So the effects of this might be in here, but you'll want to keep your freedom in your relationships. You don't want people to be pushing you around. You don't want people to be making you conform. And so, you could be taking some risks. You could be saying some things that you like are, you want to assert something about yourself maybe, and be like, no, this is me. This is how I express myself. There's nothing wrong with me, blah, blah, blah. This is what I want to look like, or that's the person I want to be with, or, like this person I want to have, more than one person with me, but the problem is if it's not well planned, this can backfire. So you want to make sure that you're careful about that, because this energy too, by the way, can be very sexual. So you want to make sure that you're not just going out willy-nilly doing what with whoever, because this isn't something that's going to last, by the way. You don't really want to start a relationship when Venus is square Uranus in the sky, because that is not... You can have fun, but don't expect any long-term anything there, because it's not the nature of that energy. It's not long-lasting. So we move on to week 4. So week 4 is the March 20th to the 26th. And this energy is going to be kind of interesting too this week, because we got Sun moving into Aries. We got Mars square Uranus, Mercury conjunct Neptune. Mars square Uranus can talk about explosions. It can talk about explosive changes and energies that are just kind of like right out the gate, just going to change something. It's not easily contained, though. It's unpredictable. So any actions you take may have unpredictable outcomes. And that's what I was saying. So this is Venus square Venus square Uranus on the last day of this week 3, meaning this could be connected to that. You guys could be, doing, because this is March 22nd that the Mars squares Uranus. So we're still seeing this sort of reckless energy of I want, I love, I need, I have, I will go get it. I will do it at all costs, and I will risk it all. But it's like a different energy of like, I can handle it though. This will be fine. But, in the end, you may not plan it out very well, and it may not be fine. Around the same time, you've got Mercury conjunct Neptune, right? So that this third week, you're going to be feeling that. You're going to be wanting to go out and do these things. But with Mercury conjunct Neptune, it's like you don't have all the facts. You didn't make the plans clearly. You cannot see the forest for the trees, or you can't tell the difference between fact and fiction here. So, if you're not careful, you can have a disaster on your hands, this week 3 or week 4. So you just want to make sure that, anything in your head that pops up and you're like, that seems like a great idea. No, just sit on it and let it simmer for maybe 48 hours before you choose to do it. Okay. Just because you don't want that to backfire in your face. Not saying that all your plans will backfire. That's not true at all. But it's just, if it seems like something that you may regret later, put a pin in it. Just wait until like a little later, you know? Excuse me. So for this week 4, though, we have the Strength card and we have Patience. This is Jupiter and Virgo. I like this energy a lot better because there is the strength here, and I feel like there is an element of patience and discipline here in your life. You want to expand in some area. However, it's possible that you could be, oh wait, did I take the, I don't think I took the things for these guys. Hang on just a second. Back to, I don't think I took charms for these. So can we take charms for group 3, please? Okay, so we've got Gemini, we've got the lipstick, and we got butterfly. So we do have some changes and transformations that you might be wanting to go through. You may be making changes with your appearance too, by the way. This also is not a great, it's not a bad idea, I guess, if you wanted to make some physical changes to your appearance around this time. But I do see, you know, you wanting to make some kind of changes here. And because we have Scorpio here, this does talk about transformations as well. So, you know, you could be doing this change here. We have Gemini as well. So there's a lot of thinking again. There's also, what's interesting about Gemini is they're kind of Epicurious. You know, they want to look at everything. They just want to look at everything. They want to play with everything. They want to, you know, they don't have an easy time focusing on one thing or the other. Sometimes this can mean literal twins are somehow involved, or an actual Gemini person could be involved. But for the most part, I'm seeing you, you know, improving some aspect of your life because maybe you're looking at aesthetics somewhere and you're like, oh, I like the way they look. I like the way that looks. But if you go out and purchase the thing, you might kind of like be like, ugh, wait a minute, this isn't what I thought it was. So again, you're still going to want to make sure that you have those, you're still going to want to make sure that you're making good choices here. Okay, so for this one again, though, because we have Jupiter and Virgo here, this can talk about being very detail-oriented, wanting to improve, wanting to enhance, you know, finding growth, personal growth through discipline. So for some of you, you guys may be trying to lose weight around this time, you know, because the Strength card can talk about holding back on what you're eating, holding back on your earthly physical desires like eating and sex and drinking and things like that. So you could really be trying to clean up your diet, clean up your act in some kind of way. And it's for the greater good, though, because you want to improve. That's what the thing is. You want to seek improvement of your life through personal change, through personal criticism, though. That's one of the downsides of this here is personal criticism can be a little bit of a problem. But for the most part, though, I think that this is kind of like a healthy change. Can we clarify the 4th week for group 1? High Priestess. Okay, so you could be, let's see here. She's kind of shaking me up here. For some of you, you may be looking up to this person and you want to become this person. For others, you may want to move and not move, but like talk to a specialist, somebody that you know that has a lot of knowledge. Talk to a psychic even. The High Priestess is a couple things, but she's always somebody who can give you knowledge if you're looking for it. Like if you're having trouble finding information online for something, she has it. So you could be going straight to the source in some cases. If you're, you know, say you are trying to do something with your health or weight loss, you could be going to a doctor to talk to them, or you could be going directly to a nutritionist to talk to them. But I'm seeing, you know, a very strong focus on health too, because that's one thing I'll say, you know, this can talk about health. This can talk about health as well. So, you know, there could be something going on where maybe you're not feeling the best, maybe you're not feeling very well, and you are, you know, going to try to feel better by going to a specialist to feel better. I just said that twice, feel better. All right, I'm going to take some charms here. I'm going to get some clarity on group 3, or the week 4. Clarity on week 4, please. Fish, Lantern. Yeah, you are going to be looking for guidance here. For some of you, this may have to do with children because the baby bottle's here. So this could be children. For those of you, if you're pregnant, you could be doing a checkup this week with potentially, you know, like your OBGYN, because I see this, but I also have the Lantern here. So this is leading the way here, giving you some guidance, giving you some clarity, giving you some, you know, way to see the future, way to see into, you know, the better way. And I've seen, because illumination is big here. We also have the sun. So this could be improving your self-esteem too. With the fish here, we talk about money as well. So this could be seeing a financial advisor as well. We do have the earth essence here of Virgo. So it's very possible. And also Jupiter here. So there is that talk of abundance and growth and finances and things like that coming into play. So you could also be getting some kind of advice on money or just health and things like that. In the end, though, it's really going to be a productive week. We won't say there's anything wrong with this week. I would say it's just mostly productive. So for the last week here, week 5, this is going to be for March 27th through the 31st. It's not a full week, but it is reaching up to the end of March. So what we have here is the World card, and then we have detachment, Venus in Aquarius. So around this time of the month, Venus will be conjunct Saturn and the new moon will be in Aries. Now, interestingly, Venus conjunct Saturn Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius. So there is this essence here of them and me, maybe separating people, maybe keeping people at a distance here, wanting to only surround yourself maybe with people who you can, have exchanges with, or feel people with like minds, things like that, similar aesthetics, similar interests, and similar ways of speaking. It does look like you're probably going to be wanting to connect. I think, though, personally, I think you'll want to connect with these people, and you'll be doing a very, and maybe you come to these people for a reason that might have to do with insecurity. Because the problem with Venus conjunct Saturn is there are feelings of insecurity when it comes to our personal selves. We can have less self-esteem. We can have issues with our finances. Wherever Venus rules in your chart, that can cause issues in that area too. But for the most part, this is a very, it casts kind of like a serious light on Venus. It's not bad though, because Venus and Saturn don't necessarily disagree. Venus is like, here's the money, and Saturn's like, okay, let's allocate it correctly. It's about making well thought out decisions on things that you want. So I think that could be something too. You may be also trying to make a decision on something and determine something from a detached perspective. And I think that, so there could be some kind of segregation in a way, or detachment and separating, because that's the thing with Saturn doing this in the sky. Saturn is, it does a lot of good things, but it does a lot of bad things too, and one of those things is segregating, separating, and being discerning and moving things apart, and stuff like that. And so that could be something that you're doing, for better or worse. This could be good depending on your situations in this month. Like for some of you, maybe you do need to detach. For some of you, maybe you're already detached and it's not helping you. But I am seeing that, this can say that the month culminates with maybe you learning how to let things fly, to learning not to take things personally if they don't personally make you happy. Like if things aren't the way that you want them, you'll learn to be okay with that. Can I get a clarifying card for week 5 here? I have one card that's flipped over and it's driving me nuts. Hang on. Where'd it go? There it is. I had one that was flipped over and I just couldn't focus because I kept seeing it. Anyway, okay. Week 5, one card to clarify. We've got the Knight of Swords. Okay. So yeah, you could be joining some kind of online community that you could be talking and debating with people. You could be having just, general discussions. I don't think it's definitely saying that there's any kind of fighting. It's just sharing ideas and philosophy and things like that. Maybe talking about the way that you would love the world to be. There is an idealism here, maybe with Venus and Aquarius, because there is this, hopeful aspect maybe of Venus there. It's still kind of more of a serious tone, because I guess things have to be kind of glum in order for you to have hope about something, right? So that could be saying that the energy of the time is still kind of making you feel that way, but there is a lighter feeling to it. Capricorn always seems to be a lot heavier than all the other signs, in my opinion. So let's see here. I'm gonna take some. Hang on. Got this guy trying to hide. Okay, can I get a clarifying charms based on week 5? Oh boy, that's too many. Oh my gosh, hang on. I'm gonna rethrow because that's like a whole world of stuff. Hang on. I want to keep these a little less detailed so that you guys can not get confused with too much, you know. There we go. So what is this about? Okay, we got Scorpio here. We've got paintbrush. We got black cat. Okay. So for some of you, this topic could have to do, or the situations or the themes for this week could have to do with whitewashing something, painting it over, making it look like everything else is one way to see it. Black cat can talk about suspicions or superstitions. And so, you know, there is a little bit of black magic there too. Some of you might be joining some kind of magic community. That's another thing. But with Scorpio and this cat, though, it does talk about kind of, you know, darker themes, worries, woes, because Scorpio is part of the Via Combusta, which is that burning path of misfortune in the sky. You know, this could be saying that there is this, you know, something you're worried about. Honestly, though, because of this, I'm wondering if we're looking at this paintbrush here, painting over these things here, these suspicions and these worries and woes and fears. You could be painting over them in, you know, maybe some way you want to escape them. And maybe that's what this detachment is also talking about, is like if you go out and join a certain community, it might be because you need to detach and get away from your life. Your life could just be kind of annoying or just not something that you want to look at. You know, the themes could be kind of heavy. So that's what I'm seeing for this whole month. Let me know what you guys think of this reading. Really, really, really. Promise me you'll do this. Come back and tell me whether or not these are things that you're seeing in your month, so that I can continue and improve and, you know, see what's hitting and what's not. You know, predictions need to be tested. So if you guys have them and you're not really seeing them, come on back and tell me. If you do see them, definitely come back and tell me. I'm really curious about that. So if you could do that, I'd say you're doing me a favor. But the way you can keep track, though, is if you put the number of the pile you picked in the comment section. Go back and check your comment and be like, oh, okay, I want to use this one, or, you know, or sorry, I read this one. I'm going to go and check and see what that was. So you can do that and then let me know. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you're interested in a private reading, you can catch my shop down in the description box. You can get an astrology reading or a tarot reading with me, whatever you like. Also, if you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would love it if you did that. I'm almost at 8,000 subs. So if you could do that, I would be so happy. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to move on to group 2. Hi, group 2. This is for those of you that picked this rhodonite stone. This is your reading. So to start, so this is going to be week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. And then I'm going to look at your actual energies here when it comes to the energies that are influencing you and the world around you right now as well. So it's kind of like a holistic sort of look at everything. So for this week, this is the beginning of the month. This is, you know, March 1 through 5 here, the 1st through the 5th. And so you're already in this one, so you guys can let me know how is it going so far. But for the most part, this time during this part of the month, it's very intense. You probably, I feel like with you guys, you may be on the more sensitive side, perhaps. So, you know, you could be really getting caught up in this energy. It's not turning you into this type of person, but these type of people could be getting to you. And that is people that are very like, you know, ego-oriented, people that are very focused on themselves right now, or very focused on making things about them. They could have very big me-centered thinking, and they could be kind of like pushing their views and ideologies and things on you. And, you know, you may find this a little bit on the oppressive side, though I think that you're more on, you know, with this, I'm getting a more caring energy from you guys. I got the Cancer energy showing up here. I have a little bit of Virgo too. So I get the feeling that, you this beginning of this, the first 3 weeks of this, you kind of have this energies might be a little bit more cozy. We also have lunar themes here. So you could be moon people in some way, very sensitive, very soft, very caring. And so, seeing all these big bad things happening in the world at this, especially this week, you might be feeling kind of, tired, worn out, perhaps. Everybody around you could be, wanting and taking and just being greedy and insensitive. And they could be just trying to overpower too, because we do have Pluto and Mars conjunct along with Venus. But it's like somebody who's willing to maybe like wrestle you to get what they want. If you guys are having a discussion, somebody might try to strong arm you and really laser, because Mars and Pluto together can give you like a laser focus. I don't think that you're being very susceptible to these, but the people around you are like maybe really just boring a hole in you, just like, yeah, I want what I want, give me what I want. I'm gonna be really aggressive about it. I won't shut up about it. I'm gonna keep bothering you about it. And you may have to kind of like get a breather here, because as a highly sensitive person that I think you might be, I think that you have to like, this could be really wearing you out and dragging you down. I think that especially if there are friendships involved, because we have Moon in Cancer, and then we also have the Leo sign here, the Queen of Wands. This could be a particular person in your life that's doing this, or you could be kind of taking this role here where you might be taking things personally too. That's a possibility. I don't, it's not wrong if you have, everybody's subjected to these energies. So, on other days we're more selfish than others. Some days we're thinking clearly, some days we're not. So, you could be finding yourself in that position in some way. But with friendships here, it does look like, you could have discussions about the family, the topics of the family could be coming up, topics of your friendships, everything like that. You could be meeting with somebody. This could be an old family member, because this can indicate like a reunion. So maybe you'll get back in touch with somebody, a female perhaps. This is also the energy that's rather creative, actually. So you could be kind of in the mood to make things. That's the other side of things, is you got Mars and Venus there. So together it's kind of sexual too. So, there could be this urge to build a family for some of you. That's one thing too. There's also just for artists, it's a great time to create. It's very intense though. So, I don't think that, you shouldn't have to feel that this energy will pressure you into thinking that everything is dire and that you need it now and that you have to have it. And that if you don't have it, you're going to find a way to have it. So you got to make sure not to let yourself get swept up in that energy. Can I get details on week 1 for group 2? Again, yeah. So we do have a little bit of fighting here, a little bit of go and get it energy with the sword here. But this could also talk about somebody who's like relentlessly bugging you, like a friend that's relentlessly bugging you. Somebody who wants to talk about philosophies, who wants to talk about religion, who wants to talk about politics. And you may not be in the mood for it. Maybe somebody, is like a doomer and just like, oh my God, do you want to talk about the terrible thing? And they'll be like, no. You'll be like, just, I've already heard about the terrible thing. Thank you. Can I not though? So that could be one thing as well. And like I said, it doesn't have to be global. It's global. This energy is global. It doesn't have to be any one thing, and can be anything though. It can be, like the terrible thing that happened in your life personally. Like say something bad happened to you and everybody's like, do you want to talk about it? Can we talk about it? Or do you remember what so-and-so said? Do you want to talk about that? You'd be like, I'd really like to not relive it. Thank you. So this could be another thing. So because this is some pretty relentless energy with this Knight of Swords. Can I get some clarifier for what this is? Doop. Oh, hang on. I got this. I got so many. That's fine. What did I drop though? I dropped one. Oh, it was Aries. Get back in the box, Aries. But yeah, okay. So for here we have discussions. We have talking. You see this little speech bubble here? This is definitely an indicator for text message speaking or text speaking. You may get a message that is well-meaning though. This person could also come to care about you, or you could care about somebody and want to talk to them, but they're not letting you because we have this little lock, here. I don't know if you can see it. but this little lock can definitely say that, this person's heart is off limits right now. They're too busy. Well, for some is they're too busy working. For some, it's just they're, too busy. For some reason, okay, this is weird because I'm getting the phrase of digging their own hole, or digging their own grave or something like that. So, you could also be kind of worried about someone, what they're doing with their life, how they're acting, how they're being. And, you could be like, oh, well, I want to help them, but I can't, because this person's not letting you in. We also have the cactus here. So this little prickly guy here, you want to get close, maybe get some of those delightful little cactus flowers or fruits, and you can't because it's too spiky. So I feel like, this can also mean that there's like some resistance when it comes to getting what you want from somebody. They may not be receptive. So, you could be wanting their sympathy, or you could be wanting to get close to them. You could be wanting their care. But it's like there's just something that's not really adding up. Now for you too, this could mean that you are acting this way too, and people want to get to you, want to talk with you, want to break down your walls and have a sensitive discussion, and you may not be really feeling it right now. So that's what I'm seeing with that. Get back in the box there. Okay, so this is week 2. This goes from 6th to the 12th of March. Really, this one's not too busy of a week. Energies are probably going to still be around from last week and go into the next week and everything. But for the most part, all of this happening here is Mercury entering Pisces, which all this really indicates is that it's not a great time for thinking clearly. When Mercury enters Pisces, Mercury is kind of confused. So the energy is going to be like, you'll be wanting answers, but you're not going to be able to get them because they won't make sense. Or like people will be telling you something, but it's like not in your language or something. And it'll just be like, you want information, but you just can't grasp it. Another way that we could see this too is that, you could have thoughts in your head that are very vague and abstract. And in your head, they seem so clear. But when you try to explain them to somebody, you can't convey the idea in a way that does it justice. So there could be that too. It's a little confused. It's a little like, it's like changing the state of something. So like your thoughts are like a gas, and Mercury is maybe in reality is a solid. And for some reason you're having difficulty taking that gas and turning it into a solid. And that's kind of what you're kind of coping with when it comes to thought to mouth. That journey from thought to mouth is going to be kind of like, difficult. It's not going to be successful, maybe. So what is going on though? For this week, we have the 9 of Swords, and then we also have the Jupiter in Cancer. This is all right. This is very family focused, actually, or just focused on caring and compassion and growth through those things, growth through emotion, growth through feeling. It does seem like a time frame where there could be some worries, but this could also mean that you overcome these worries in the same week. So maybe the transition there with Mercury going into Pisces might be somewhat tumultuous for you, and maybe it triggers some kind of thinking or some kind of feeling in you, and maybe you're having difficulty making sense of that. It looks actually pretty simple. This can mean that you do have meetings with family, maybe to talk about. This can talk about jail and not jail, but like prison. Not prison. Why am I saying prison? This can talk about legal disputes, legal things, legal disputes. Talk about inheritance, family. So it could be like disputes about family, worrying about family income, worrying about money coming in, that sort of thing. Or money coming in from outside, like family members, that sort of thing. So if you get any kind of assistance from family, you may not have it this month or something. So can I get one card to clarify this second week? Okay, hang on. Clarify the second week. Okay, I will take this because it fell on top. Six of Pentacles. So yeah, this can be talking about maybe needing assistance from a family member, begging for assistance, being worried about asking for assistance. It may be there, but maybe it's not there. Like it may be there, but like you're afraid to get to it, or you don't know how to convey your need. Especially, we're talking about issues with communication. This could be definitely talking about something where you need something and it's worrying you, it's bothering you, but you just can't seem to ask or reach out for support for some reason. Can I clarify this? Okay, we have a child, we have pruning shears, we've got this bottle, this is class, this is things that are intangible, and we've got the rabbit, white rabbit. So these guys here can talk about making changes to your life that are necessary, difficult. Maybe you purchase things that are too expensive and you want to make sure that you, maybe you did purchase something expensive that could have been made to improve your life, but in the end, it might have only kind of made it more complicated and perhaps you can't pay it off or something. A white rabbit talks about not having enough time. So it could mean that you're late on a bill and maybe you need to ask for help and you don't know who to ask or where to get it from, or you can't bring yourself to tell them that you're going to be late, or you can't bring yourself to tell them that you didn't know what you were doing. Because we do have the child here who also talks about inexperience. So you might be bashful about letting people know that you don't know what you're doing, or you might be bashful about asking for help because you don't want to be seen as someone who doesn't know what they're doing. So there's that, especially if it has to do with a legal situation too, like taxes or something like that. You might have a lot of questions, but you don't know where to start and you don't know who to ask. And you're afraid that if you do ask somebody, they're going to make fun of you because it's like, oh my gosh, you're not a real adult. What the hell? Like if this is your first time ever paying taxes, you could be concerned with that. You wanted to know everything. You wanted to have it all down, but maybe you just, there's just areas where you don't know. And I think that that's kind of what we're looking at is you need help from somebody, but you're afraid to ask. So the third week of March, we have the Eight of Wands and we have the Moon in Virgo. These are actually, that's funny because this is actually the week of Moon in Virgo too. So the full moon in Virgo may have something to do maybe be strongly affecting you this month. Maybe you have your moon in Virgo too. That's another thing. So this could be your lunar return and you also have your full moon in Virgo. But basically the energy of this time frame is that you have a feeling like you want to make a difference, and which is very moon in Virgo. Of course, you may feel like your influence can heal things, make things better. This is the sign of the healer, the doctor, the person who can make things better. So your efforts and your goals can be very much coming from a place of it's an altruistic thing, like it's for the greater good. You may be very focused on the details to make things better. You could want to improve or want to prune things like we had over here. You may want to just fix things too, because Virgo's a fixer. Virgo likes to fix all sorts of stuff. You'll want your freedom though. Around this time, though, this is separate from this moon. It's the Venus square to Uranus. You want your freedom in your relationships, though. You don't want to be told what to do. You don't want to be pushed around. You don't want your partner to assimilate you or not assimilate you, make you assimilate to them or, become... You don't want to become one with them. They may be like, hey, look, I bought this matching sweater set. One fits me and one fits you. We should put these on. Won't that be cool? And you'll be like, no, God, no. Oh my God, I need to get away from you. That could be the feeling that you could be having this third week. But, for some of you, though, you may have new ideas that you want to take risks on, like I'm going to make this purchase and I'm just going to do it without telling anybody. And it's going to be a big mess on accident because I didn't tell anyone and it's expensive, so it can talk about that sort of stuff this week where you kind of like winging it when it comes to Venusian things. So you could wind up making some mistakes in your relationships, or making mistakes in your purchases, trying to be your own independent person. But because it's a square to Uranus, it's kind of talking about like unpredictable outcomes. Like, sure, it could work out for some of you, maybe. For others, it may not. So just like be careful what you're doing and make sure that whatever you're doing is well planned. I don't think it'll be too much of a big deal though, because I mean, full moon in Virgo I feel like it's always well planned. So especially if you have moon in Virgo yourself, you're quite cautious probably, and you want to make sure that you make the right decisions. So it's a good moon to have. So with this here, though, I see you maybe making some decisions on your home is one thing, because we have moon in Virgo. This can talk about the home specifically, but this can also talk about your nature during this week. Is maybe, like, I'm gonna clean up this, I'm gonna make this nicer, I'm gonna brighten this. You could be very critical though too. If this is aspecting in your chart negatively, you could become very critical and be like, man, I'm so fat, oh my god, my hair is ugly, did I let these grays go in, oh my god, like, I can't believe I just let that thing get broken and now it's a piece of shit. Like, it's having these arguments in yourself about how you let your house like fall apart maybe, or maybe it's not organized. So this could mean that you have like an increased amount of energy to do something at home, improve your home in some way. But also, improving your body, because the moon is also representative of the body. So it's possible that you want to, start running or start making changes to your health regime, like changing your diet or something. But this also, by the way, could be some kind of way to control your world. You have turned it internally, and that's, make sure that whatever you're doing though, if this is the energy that you're in this week, make sure that you're doing it for a healthy reason. You don't want to start turning self-criticism in on yourself because you can't control your surroundings. That's that sort of it's kind of like self-harm in a way. If you do it to yourself because you can't control your exterior world, instead of coming to terms with the fact that you don't have control of your life and control of your environment, you're choosing to do something unhealthy. So that's just another thing that you want to be careful of. Let me take a clarifier here. Can we clarify the situation the third week of March for group 2? 3 of Cups. Okay. This could also talk about, well, this talks about communities, but I also think that this is you. I really think this is you somehow cleaning up your act when it comes to diet or exercise or something like that. Just because the 3 of Cups talks about your routines, the things that you do ritualistically. So for some people at 5 p.m. you go off, you have happy hour, you realize that you've done it over a week and now you've gained like a bunch of weight because you keep drinking every day at 5. So, this could be something that's coming up and you're like, wow, I really need to do a little bit better here. So you are taking into consideration your health. Another thing about the full moon in Virgo though, March 18th, that's when that is it talks about the time when you put in work during these 2 weeks. If you put in work during these 2 weeks to reach a goal, you set a goal, you'll start to see results around this time. So, if you're at this point, you're feeling like you're losing hope, just maybe slow down, take a closer look at what the world is looking like around you, where you wanted to make those changes, and actually see that, maybe those things have really been manifesting. And if they haven't, maybe go back and look at the last 2 weeks and wonder, well, okay, where did things not add up? Where did things not, come together? And where did I not make the needed or necessary changes? Let me get some of these though. Okay, for some of you, this could be your sleep. We're seeing something wrong with regenerative sleep. I have the starfish here, and I also have the sheep. So this talks about sleep schedules that may not be that great. And also you have this energy here with the 8 of Wands, can talk about being way too active mentally to sleep. And it's a stubborn situation that maybe you've been trying to do. So I think that with this, perhaps it could be something to do with your environment or your home. I think it's probably emotionally related. Like you just can't slow down. Maybe your emotional state is kind of going, a mile a minute. So you're having all these like suddenly like emotional thoughts while you're trying to sleep. Like, remember that time from like 3 years ago that you did that thing and you said that thing and now you feel terrible about it and you didn't need to think about this at all, but you did. Like, that's kind of like what you're thinking about when you're trying to fall asleep, perhaps, because we do have the moon here and we also have this, Cancer here. And so your sleep schedule could be way out of whack, and you're not, you also may not be doing very good with sleep hygiene. So like, are you drinking caffeine after noon? Are you eating chocolate? Are you on your phone like way too close to bedtime? Are you getting a lot of blue light shining into your eyes? Is that what's causing you your problems? If you didn't realize you have sleep issues now you have some tips on what to do about it. But it's like that sort of thing. But this situation is stubborn, though. It's been around for a while, but with the right amount of effort, you'll be able to get out of it, because we've got this little cork puller thing, bottle opener, which talks about putting a right amount of effort and pop, it comes out. But yeah, I am seeing issues though with sleep, regeneration, and you might be low in health. This isn't a video game. Your health might be a little bit low energy, though. That is something about Pisces season, is it can be like, Pisces is my 6th house, so every time I have Pisces season, like, I love March, don't get me wrong, but it can make me kind of drained. It's an emotional season too, so if you're an intuitive person who can pick up on other people's energies a little bit easier, whether you realize it or not, you could be accidentally letting that stuff drain you. So, if you usually have people come up to you at work and they're draining the crap out of you with their boring discussions and their emotional problems they're trying to get you to feel bad about, like, that stuff really wears on you in this season. So it's not the greatest time for you to like be around people that need you emotionally. Especially if you already have trouble, like, separating yourself from other people. When it comes to when they need you, you may be an overgiver. That's another thing about Virgo moon, is you may give too much. So you really need to be careful about where you are giving your energy and who you're giving it to. So I'll put that back. I'm gonna move to week 4. Week 4 starts on the 20th of March to the 26th. So this is the sun moving into Aries this week. That's very nice. It's very rejuvenating, because that's the beginning of the zodiacal year. So Happy New Year. But at the same time, we'll have Mars square Uranus and Mercury conjunct Neptune. This can be really weird, because it's you've got a lot of like hazardous energy with Mars and Uranus. Around this time, there's things that are explosive in nature, literal explosions. Sometimes it's things that break, that are like violently breaking. For other ways to see this is, you could be doing something reckless that doesn't really go well, and say you're like, oh, I'm gonna go and climb up to the roof to get that thing because look, it's hanging off there. I got to go do something about it. So you put up the ladder, but you don't realize you've put it on top of a rock. So it's not stable, and it's because you were rushing, because you were, you were working on, because you were doing something off the cuff, or it doesn't even have to be a safety issue, really. It could be just like you get mad and then you decide to do something kind of crazy, and it doesn't turn out right at all. You take a risk and it doesn't turn out okay at all. So that's the problem with that, is that you can have around this time some unexpected outcomes to some not so great ideas that you weren't totally clear about, because you also got Mercury conjunct Neptune at this time frame. So this is talking about not having all the information, not totally being sure of what's right or wrong. It talks about unclear thinking and difficulty seeing fact and fiction. So that's another reason why you don't want to make any decisions off the cuff, because chances are you're going to rush into something that you don't have all the answers or have all the information on. So you want to make sure that you're very careful. Also, because this is a more intuitive time, it's possible that you could be feeling more emotional and making emotionally based physical decisions. So you're taking a concept, an emotional concept in your head and trying to translate it into a 3D world, and it's not going to come out right. So that's another reason why you're probably going to be seeing a lot of whoopsie daisies around this time. So just be very careful around this time. Don't get any arguments, or well, arguments wouldn't be good, but don't get any accidents. Make sure that you're driving safely. Make sure that you have everything well planned out. So if you have any kind of what's it called, like an urge to do something, just be very careful you don't hurt yourself, or have this thing backfire in your face. You could pick a fight with somebody and they may actually get physical with you. You never know. So this though, for this last week, for the fourth week here. So we've got a Ace of Pentacles, and we also have the Originality. This is Mercury and Aquarius. This talks about, it's funny how it comes together like this. It talks about weird thinking. And it's funny because, Mercury was in Aquarius. Now it's in Pisces at this point. But Mercury is talking about seeing things from a weird angle, trying to get a better hold better hold on an idea, or a better foothold on an idea by looking at it sideways, or, kind of changing the way you think about it. Kind of talk about really unusual things, though, like unusual ideas. It could also be a time when you get like a big bolt of inspiration from like nowhere. You just having a crazy cool idea that you come up with, and it's new, and this is cool too, because you may be investing in this crazy cool idea. For some of you, it is your idea. For others, you might have somebody come up to you and they're like, "Hey, look at this thing that I'm making. I don't have any money. Do you want to do my Kickstarter?" And you'll be like, "Heck yeah, that looks crazy cool." Like, so that could be you investing in that, and you really put a lot of faith in this. You could really be backing something. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a Kickstarter thing, but your friend could be like, "Hey, I got this awesome idea. Do you want to go halvesies on it and be a partner?" And you could be like, "Heck yeah, this is awesome." So it's kind of like good for you in the long term. It looks like it is a new, innovative way of thinking. But also, though, because this Mars square Uranus is here, you may want to make sure that you take a little bit of time to consider what you're doing first. Can we clarify that Ace of Pentacles and the Originality card? Clarify Ace of Cups. Okay, that's kind of cool too. So we are seeing like Ace of Cups and Ace of Pentacles. Sometimes this could also be love here too, like a love relationship or some kind of romantic situation. It could be a new novel sort of thing where someone's like, "Hey, I'm really into you." And you would have been like, "I don't think I would have considered this before, but today I will." So it does look pretty good, actually. I would be careful though with Venus square Uranus if you guys are taken, or, like if there's something going on, you might be more inclined to make a bad decision here. So just make sure that you're not living too spontaneously, because you're going to be wanting to get some separation, some freedom in your relationships, right? But just don't try to seek it the wrong way. If it's gonna be, hurtful or do something bad, you want to make sure that, it could potentially have a really bad outcome. There's a chance that you could actually get that outcome, because there's a higher chance for failure with this square. So just be careful with that. This can also have to do with how you spend your money too, because, March 19th, even though it was week 3, it is the last day and it goes into week 4 too. So you want to make sure that you're not still in that Venus square Uranus energy when you're making these decisions on what you want to spend your money on, because this could talk about a potentially bad investment that you want to just make sure you don't get into. But also though, this is pretty good though, because I do think that for the most of you, this will be positive. We have this the Ace of Cups can talk about somebody maybe trying something new with communication, trying to tell you something. You could get a message that gets sent to you that's like a little it could be sweet, a nice little thing that makes you feel better. That's another thing. Let me get the clarifier. What is this week 3 or week 4? What's going on in week 4 here with these aces? Sorry. So it does talk about partnership here. We have Aquarius, we have Capricorn, we have the anchor, and we have the ring and this thing here. So it's like somebody could be pondering some kind of idea here, and they are trying to get you to do it. And we have Aquarius, this is actually Virgo here, not Aquarius. Virgo here is like, something that could really, if it's an inventive idea, it really could change the way things work. Also, this could be somebody coming up to you, presenting you with an idea on how to solve a personal problem that you have, perhaps. Something that will allow you to kind of, you could gain security long term, but they're willing to ally with you and work it out with you and make things happen with you. And whatever you have here, though, it could be long term. Actually, we do have Capricorn and the anchor, and then this ring here too, right? So altogether, this is a very mature decision, whatever it is. But whatever you choose to do with it, it's the effects of it will be long term and potentially benefit your security in the long run. I also think that it could be something you're investing into a nice time too. Something about the anchor is the representation is that when you drop your anchor, it's a time of rest. You're at port, So back in the day when you had Lenormand's symbolism of the anchor, it was about the time when you could get off the boat and go and explore and enjoy time on land. So there is something here too. So maybe somebody's trying to convince you of having a vacation or take a trip or buying something good for yourself, but you might have to go halvesies on it or something. You might have to split it. But it looks very nice, actually. This is probably my favorite week of the month for you. So I'm going to move on to the last one here, which is the fifth week. This is going to be March 27th to the 31st, and this is when Mercury moves into Aries. And this is a time frame when Venus is conjunct Saturn, and we also have the new moon in Aries too. So it's back to that dark moon phase where you can begin to decide whether or not what you can start to plan ahead. What do you want to do? And then make movements towards that manifestation throughout the month. But with here, we've got this Sun in Sagittarius, and then we also have the Seven of Wands. This can talk about standing up for your beliefs here, though, because this Seven of Wands can talk about defending against other people, standing your ground, telling people, hey, no, this is me. I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to, bow down to you or anyone else. It's a little bit of a hostile energy, to be honest, because when Mercury moves into Aries, it's a little punchy. It's like, you and everybody around you might be in this weird sort of mood to get into fights about stuff and overreact and not really think first before you speak. You could just be kind of like, dropping out, information on people, and they may not know like how to handle it, or, you could have a lot of energy with your speaking and thinking, and people can't keep up. You could be also, kind of rambling and rattling things off faster than people can respond. Now with Venus conjunct Saturn, though, it does talk about maybe making really, when it comes to like diplomacy and things like that, Venus conjunct Saturn would be very prudent, making good decisions. It's like Venus and Saturn here are working together, where Venus is like, how about we do this? This would be the nice way to do things. And Saturn's kind of like, yes, but this would be a practical way to do things. And like together, they're kind of conspiring on how to make things happen, how to get what it is that you want, how to express, in some cases, express your love towards things in a way that's not, over the top or impractical. This could also talk about you in very serious, situation, not very serious, but like, serious energies with your friendships too, where you have to maybe sternly kind of like lay down a line there. Putting up limits with friends too. This is also an important thing to note too, that you don't want to let yourself believe that you need to earn people's love around this time, where you need to buy their love. That's kind of the thing with Venus conjunct Saturn. Sometimes is people may feel like they need to throw money at a situation, or they may need to buy the affections of somebody or buy someone's respect or admiration. So just be careful with that. You don't need that. People should love you and appreciate you for who you are, not necessarily what you have to give them or what they can get out of you. But yeah, so here though, like, you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. You just want to make sure that you stand your ground when it comes to whatever it is that you believe in. People could be trying to force you to see a certain way, and you just won't see it. And that's another thing. You may have to take a second and actually think, okay, am I being reactionary and wanting to stand up for myself here, or is this justified? You might have to actually make that you may have to make that decision. It might be hard to make too, because you may have difficulty seeing it. So, accepting when you're wrong is a big thing, but also accepting when you know you're right. Can I get a clarifying card for week 5? Okay, accepting when you know you're right. That's what I see here. So we've got or accepting a lie, but this is very much the truth here, and that's the thing is with Sagittarius, there is a truth seeker here, wanting to know, wanting to spread a certain way of thinking. This could be you here speaking the truth, or like I said, you could be maybe blinding yourself to it. Hang on though, let me see. Can I clarify the Ace of Spades? Clarify the Ace of Spades. All right, yeah, be careful. Be careful. There's a recklessness with Sagittarius. They are like, I feel like they're the less reasonable version of Gemini. Like, I feel like Gemini, you can convince with the right amount of facts and figures, but I feel like Sagittarius runs off of belief, so, there's nothing wrong with having belief, and being true to what you believe. But, if you realize your beliefs are maybe causing more harm than good, you may want to reassess them. You got to be changeable. You can't always be the same person your entire life. So if you need to change your belief systems, you should, try to understand another side to things, or maybe understand why you are feeling a certain way, because this talks about the identity here too, with the sun and with Sagittarius there. It's like you really might identify as your beliefs here, and so when those beliefs are maybe questioned, you may be taking it personally, and not everybody is seeing things that way. But you don't, you yourself, your being, your existence here is permanent. Is not permanent, but like it is fixed. But your beliefs can change. So it's important for you to just kind of know that, because the thing is you could be creating a lot of problems here with this Tower card. And the suggestion in the Tower card is to reassess things, because you might be building a tower up to the heavens that may be crumbling down. You could be acting a little bit foolish about certain things. And if you're not careful, it'll all come crashing. So I'm thinking more like Icarus, flying too close to the sun, being too confident, and having, that whole worldview maybe even just kind of like just be demolished. And that can be really demoralizing for you. It can be exhausting for you too. So that's just something that I'm seeing here. This is just the energy. But let me take some charms here. Show me more about week 5 for group 2. Oh my gosh, there's too many. Sagittarius almost tried to come up though. Okay, this could be arguments about God or belief systems, like literally. We have the discussion about opportunities that are coming into, opportunities to speak. Maybe somebody asks you about your opinion, and then when you give it to them, there could be a problem, and they'll be like, oh, we didn't want to hear that. That could be that, because we do see opportunities, but we also see risks. You are running a risk here as well. We have the fan here, so it's like I feel like somebody's face is partially concealed. So you may not see someone's motives for trying to set you off, and maybe that's their intent, is to try to set you off. The other thing I'm seeing though is beliefs. I do think that if you do have any risk, if you do find out that you have made a mistake and now you're sweating because you're not sure what's going to happen, I do think that with this Hamsa here, it's saying that the situation will be, it won't be as bad as you think it will be. So you can at least like rest assured in some way. That's only in the situation where it's like you may feel that you are like unsafe. You may be protected. that sort of thing. But with this here, we're talking about sudden cutting people off. You know, maybe you remove somebody very suddenly, or someone comes to attack you very quickly, or, you know, someone attacks you or your opinion out of the blue. I would say that at this point, though, it wouldn't be worth making this fight, especially when it's like a new moon era, a new moon time where, you know, this is going to like set the stage for the next cycle. You don't really want to get going with that, especially with Mercury in Aries, freshly in Aries, mind you. So it hasn't like mellowed out yet. It's kind of like reactionary, and it doesn't think before it speaks. So you want to make sure that you're just very careful here. But that's what I have for you, group 2. Thanks for watching. If you'd like a private reading with me, please contact me down in my Etsy shop. You can buy a reading with me there. I do astrology reports and I do tarot readings. And yeah, so if you guys like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please come back and let me know if any of this stuff is happening, has happened, whatever. Let me know. You can put down in the comment section what you picked, like what number, and then come back and then, you know, review it and be like, yes, this did happen, because that type of stuff really does help my practice to know what comes true and what doesn't. So I always appreciate that. And anyway, thanks for watching. I'll move on to group 3. Hi, group 3. This is for those of you that picked the blue-green appetite. This is your reading. So this is group 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or sorry, not group. I'm sorry, week 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the energies that are going to be kind of squashing you from above. The effects of the sky above you will also affect you and the people around you, and these are going to give us more details as well. So basically, we have the new moon in Pisces. This was week 1, which started March 1st to the 5th. So you're kind of still in these energies right now, but it will end on the 5th here, and well, it won't end, but this week here ends on the 5th. So basically the current energies that we are under right now are pretty intense. There's a lot of talk about international aspects here, international things. The people around you may be very, very intense, maybe all about getting things done, getting things their way, getting things at all cost. You yourself may feel this way, like you have to have this thing. It has to work. I have to be right. I have to do these things. This feeling is going to be coming from the Mars, Venus, Pluto conjunction. So it's a pretty intense type of energy, and it can be threatening at times too. Like if you are, you know, sharing ideas, people may be really, really keen on pushing back and asserting their dominance in some kind of way, because Pluto is about domination here with Mars involved, but it's like dominating what you want and getting what you want, and doing everything in your power to get it. It's also kind of materialistically focused too, because Venus is involved, and it's all in Capricorn too. So it's very much focused on the bottom line, getting things done, wanting things your way. I mean, it'd be great. It would probably be a really good aspect for maybe you know, business, being a fighter in business, being persistent in that sort of realm. But we also have really big ego energies because we have the Sun conjunct Jupiter too. So there's a lot of me-centered thinking, me. My ideology is right. I'm right. I can push this because I can win, because it's all about me, because I know I'm right. That sort of thing. So this week it can be strongly influenced by that sort of stuff. However, for you, I don't know if it's really going to be like that. I see you mostly doing a lot of planning, because we have the 2 of Pentacles and then the Mercury in Sagittarius. So there could be a lot of planning when it comes to, you know, going to school, though, still. Like, I guess maybe this is where your determination is going to be placed. You're going to be wanting to go to school. You're going to be wanting to maybe plan a trip somewhere. I'm seeing a lot of like number crunching and date scratching down and times and things like that. It's kind of more along those lines of you know, getting some kind of information and, you know, synthesizing it or doing something with it. So you could also be running into somebody that is very influential to you this week. Like you could be learning a lot from them. You know, perhaps you might find a guru type of person, or the perfect teacher or tutor for you. You might be exploring places to go I don't know what I was shuffling. I was just shuffling. I wanted to do, I wanted to ask about the clarifications here. Can I get a clarifier here? Oh, yeah. So planning ahead, planning also, in a financial sense, perhaps, making plans for security in the future. Like, for some of you, maybe you're doing a 401k or something. You're going to be thinking far, far into the future, and making plans surrounding that. This is a very checks and balances type of card. This Two of Pentacles, so it can talk about accounting, balancing your budget, looking at what you've spent and what you've lost, and discovery kind of shows that you're maybe really exploring into that a little bit more. You could be learning too about taxes around this time frame because it is tax season for the U.S. at least. It's tax season, and it's also so there could be discussions, or you could be exploring that sort of thing. It is preventative though, because we have the nine of wands, so there is some kind of preventative pre-planning involved in whatever it is that you are planning, and it's it's looking towards this long haul. Can I get some clarifiers for this? What's it about for group 3? Long-term security. Look at that. But actually what's funny is, because I have the pixie here, it does kind of look like for some of you, you might be planning a vacation, or some kind of trip, or buying something that you want. So there's that feeling of acquisition here. The reason why I think it's playful and kind of lighthearted is just because the anchor can talk about dropping your anchor at port, getting off the ship, going out and stop doing sailor things and going to go and enjoy the culture of wherever it is that you've stopped. So, in a way it can talk about travel as well. But because we have this here, maybe some of you are going to Disney World. Maybe some of you want to go to Disney because I have this fairy here. So there's like some kind of emphasis there on fanciful aspects. It's a fun trip, whatever it is. I don't see this as too heavy for a lot of you. It's going to be something that's enjoyable. It doesn't even have to be a trip, but it could just be like a time away, but you have a plan for it too. Like, you could be staying at home, but you could also be like driving someplace nearby that you really want to go to. But for the most part, it's actually a pretty nice energy. If there's any kind of hesitations or blockages or anything that could be bothering you or keeping you from doing this, though, the energies of that Mars, Venus, Pluto conjunction is actually going to allow you to laser in and hone your focus into what exactly you want to do. So you're probably better equipped to solve some problems and get what it is that you want. And even with Pluto's energy there, you might do something that's a little bit on the I don't know. You might find some kind of what's it called? Where you circle around something. You're able to circumvent something maybe through some kind of subversive sort of tactics where you can kind of sneak around, and maybe you get tickets from a scalper or something like that. So for this week, this is week 2. This is going to be covering the 6th through the 12th, and we have the Queen of Swords, and we have Escape, which is Mars in Pisces. So this is kind of looks like it could be some kind of strategic escapism, avoiding a subject socially. The Queen of Swords is represents a Libra energy, and Pisces and Libra together are not the most. They're not very confrontational. They don't like to fight very often. They usually would rather either try to compromise or just escape it altogether and not deal. It's just easier to do that. So, this could be some of the energy that you have for this week. It is possible, though. We do have Mercury entering Pisces at this time, like during this time frame. So it may be difficult for you to actually have more logical thinking for you, because, depending on what your chart looks like, you may have difficulty taking your thoughts and bringing them out into the world. They may be more abstract or harder to define or describe with words. So, because you may be feeling overwhelmed by having to do a translation of your own thoughts, pretty much, you may not be able to keep up with other people that are wanting to challenge you. And if that's what you're feeling, you could be more inclined to run away, just because like if you can't think straight, then there's that potential that you could flub or make a mistake or something. So it's almost like you're just kind of escaping to avoid it altogether. Can I clarify these two cards, please? Whoa, what did I get? It just fell. Okay. That's Mars and Pisces again, basically. Like we have this action-oriented Knight of Cups. Again, we're having Mars and Pisces type of themes. So it can talk about a person that might be trying to evade you, or you may be trying to evade somebody else. You may need to get down and want to talk about it too. I mean, you could be the Queen of Swords here, where you need clarity, you need understanding, you need closure, and that person might be kind of like kind of dancing around it, not giving you any true closure. So that could be something that you're dealing with around this time, and it may be very frustrating as well. You want to be careful, though, not to try to escape into substances too much around this time, because this is something that can happen. So you can talk about mistakes that you could potentially make on accident or something if you're not paying attention to what you're consuming. Let me get some clarifiers here. And we clarify these cards here for the second week of March. Oopsies. So I have Taurus, I have the camera, I have the squirrel, I have the star, I have the pruning shears. Somebody really wants you to do something too. Maybe someone has a request or something they want from you. But you may be very stern but also not want to budge on the issue. This could have to do with something or a past commitment or something you said in the past, and perhaps you forgot about it. This can mean that this is kind of like, it could be kind of a gaslighting sort of thing, where somebody is saying, oh, but in the past you did this, but you forgot about it, like, or don't you remember? Oh my gosh, you're going crazy. It's that sort of vibe, because the squirrel forgets things and the camera remembers things. So I'm seeing forgetting and remembering all over the place here, which is still very very Pisces, or Mercury just getting into Pisces, forgetting and remembering and sort of swimming through your thoughts and not totally having a real grasp on things. So you may have this difficulty in making sense of what you might have said in the past. And it could be that, somebody's completely making something up, which may be why you have to get away. You might actually have to get away to sit and remember, did I do this? Did this happen? So you might want to be careful of those types of situations. What else I could see, perhaps? For some of you, there might be whenever you mix Mars with water sign, you do have some emphasis on physical activities surrounding water, like boating, swimming, that sort of thing. So there could also be that could be a topic at hand as well. But also it could just be like, enjoying or overindulging in maybe physical, carnal sort of stuff that you want to kind of avoid as well. We do have Taurus here, and that can talk about enjoying sensual delights in all their forms. So you might want to be careful. You might do something that you don't remember, or do something you want to remember, or you don't want to remember. That's another thing. But I feel like for the most part, this is talking about you or someone else this is like some conflict between you and somebody else, maybe about removal of things, editing things, cutting things out. Strategically, though, not just for any old reason. It's like you had to, subtract here a couple things so the greater goal could be met. So for instance, selling things in your house that take up too much space, that sort of thing, just strategically removing things. That's what the plier, or the shears are talking about. Let me put these guys back. But yeah, there's that hopeful aspect, but I think that because the star is here as well, so that talks about, it's like an opportunity, a wish, or something like that. It's difficult. Like somebody might try to make up a reason why you can't have it, or you may just try to escape. Though with that star, it can talk about kind of a form of escaping into la la land, to avoid reality. The third week is going to be March 13th through the 19th. And in the sky at this time, we have a full moon in Virgo, we have the sun conjunct Neptune, and we have Venus square Uranus all throughout that week. So you and the people around you are going to feel like you want to make a difference. You may feel like you can influence things, that you can make things better. Your goals and efforts and direction can come from a place of healing, wanting to make things, improving things, coming from a healthy place. So, you'll want to make things better, basically. And you're going to be focusing on the details, the little minutia, you'll be really honing in on what you can change and improve to make things ideal. So if you want also along with this, though, with that square to Venus square to Uranus, we have this desire that you want to have freedom in your relationships, new ideas, risk taking, making sure that whatever you do is well planned. I don't think that you're going to be too chaotic, though, because this full moon in Virgo is not what's the word? It's not it's more precise. It's careful. So I don't know if Venus is going to be totally crazy pants around this time, when it comes to how you'll respond to things, or the decisions that you'll make, because it can talk about some reckless decisions, making choices that are not necessarily wise. But because we also have Venus here as well, I don't think it necessarily talks about unwise decisions, though it can talk about unconventional things. So that's another interpretation for Venus square Uranus. And there's something unconventional about this here, because Venus in Capricorn here, it says convention, right? It can also talk about relationships between people that are not totally conventional, not the same. Specifically for this deck, it talks about people who are drastically different ages, because Venus is young and Capricorn is the sign of age. So together you have this kind of weird, could even be some kind of secret rendezvous with somebody that is very different from you. And you may be taking a risk on it too. You may not know what to expect from this thing. It could be very, very unusual for you and defying all logic as to what you typically like. So this could be happening here. And then, you might feel a little bit uncertain, a little bit fearful even about what that means here. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be everybody getting into this type of scenario. It could be any type of scenario with a relationship that is unusual, friendship or otherwise. So this could just be saying that, you meet a really strange friend and you're going to go out on a limb and try to, talk to them and trust them. And, you could meet up, but you're like nervous. It's like you're intrigued, though. You're definitely intrigued. Venus and Uranus likes variation and variety and freedom and all those unique things. Can I get a clarifier for the third week of March? Four of Pentacles. We do have this conventional thing here. Now, for some of you, if it's not a relationship, it could talk about making purchases that are a little bizarre. Maybe making purchases off the cuff and, maybe for reasons that are not, like, you don't need the thing. You don't, like you might buy something you don't need, but you really want, but you don't know why you want it. It could be something totally not your style. And you could be spending something like that. And for this, it could be saying you may want to save your money with this Four of Pentacles, but it also could just be saying that, you might be partaking in some kind of weird purchase that you're going to be like talking to yourself about all week. Like you see something online, you're like, I'm going to get that thing. I'm going to get that weird ass thing. I just keep seeing it on my feed. I want it. I'm just going to get it. And, but if you do make any choices with relationships or anything like that, you may want to be careful, though, not to um, not to make decisions that are going to bite you in the butt later. Something also, though, about this Virgo full moon is that, you know, this stuff that you're doing here is going to be adding up to here. So the efforts you put in, anything you do the first 2 weeks here are going to are going to begin to be seen by the mid month here. So if you're doing any kind of manifestations or things like that, and you're doing it for money, it's possible that you could see it here. I think that the new moon in Pisces would probably be good for healing, you know, maybe feeling better, freedom, like being freed from a bad situation. If you want to manifest those things, you could. You could also, you know, freedom from suffering. That's the thing. So healing mostly, I think, but also if you want to manifest a miracle, that's another thing. If you want to try to call in or pray for a miracle, I think that you could do that around this time, and you may see this coming around here. So, I'm going to take some cards. Can we get more detail on week 3? Oh God, really? Okay, maybe that thing is true here. Oh boy. Okay, hang on. Because, okay, so I have the timepiece. I have Capricorn again. I have the crossroads. It was my feet is here. I have this violin. So it could have something to do with somebody much younger than you. It could have to do, you know, with commitments with time too. That's another way to see this, but it does seem like there's a bit of an age gap thing happening. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it could be like, you know, having something to do with somebody that you just are on a completely like generations from, you know, like somebody that you might not see eye to eye on, a much older person, much younger person. And, you know, maybe you have to see them in a way that's not normal. Like, for instance, like if you're an older person, you have to ask like a younger person who's much younger than you for advice or something like that. And you might feel really like kind of weird about it because you're like, I've lived like 3 of their lifetimes already. Why would I ask them for help? You know, like you might be in that situation, but maybe that person just knows a whole lot more about it. But, you know, you could be asking them for their opinion too, because the crossroads talks about many options and discussions about travel. This also talks that maybe there's some kind of planning that has to be done about where you're going and what you're doing. I have this violin here, and for some reason I'm thinking that it's like school, like or like a symphony or whatever related, like something like that, where there's like maybe somebody's going to school for that, and maybe that's why there's this distance here. Maybe this is like a parent-child sort of situation as well. But also I feel like that violin can talk about sympathy. Maybe you are needing the sympathy of somebody older than you or younger than you, and maybe you might need their guidance when it comes to making decisions too. That's another thing. So, oh, hey, I got this funny little music note over here. I don't know if that was meant to be here, but it fell on Mars and Pisces. And Pisces is a very musical sign. A lot of musicians have it. But yes, maybe if there's a Pisces involved, maybe there's some kind of musical related thing here. I didn't see that. I don't know. I didn't know if it was meant to come out, but I will mention it. I'm going to move to week 4 for you. And so week 4 is the 20th to the 26th of March. And we've got basically the sun moves into Aries this week. Mars squares Uranus and Mercury conjuncts Neptune. So the energy that will be around you and the people around you and in yourself is this explosive sort of will or act or wanting to do or make, you know, wanting to do something, act, react. So if projects aren't well thought out, you could have a recipe for some mistakes or disaster even, you know, depending on how things go. This is a destructive aspect that can make things kind of literally explode, you know, but not necessarily in your everyday life. This kind of explosive energy can be found just in the way that you react to things. So if you see something that really sets you off, you might, jump to conclusions on things without making any, second, without any hesitation. Because Mercury is going to be conjunct Neptune at the same time. We have an unclear thinking, basically. So you have difficulty seeing between fact and fiction. You may not totally you may have an idealized way to thinking. You might think that things will turn out really, may turn out more, better than you think they will. So Mars square Uranus can maybe say that you might be looking before you leap or something in some cases. And Sun moves into Aries, so you've got that energetic, youthful energy of Aries. So, there could also be that sort of like, go and get it. I have this energy to get up and move and get up and go, and I want to see and I want to do and I want to do the things. All that desire, energy to move forward, to start and initiate things too will be in you. So you may be, and look, idealism, holy crap. It says idealism, Sun in Aquarius. So that is definitely suggesting that maybe this Neptune Mercury energy is going to maybe make you come to conclusions that are sort of silly. Like you may be starting or initiating something that may not be the greatest. I have the Five of Pentacles too, though, but honestly, this may be you kind of incorporating somebody into your group. I feel like this could be you bringing somebody in from out from the cold, from the cold. As this can also talk about, maybe your situation, your financial situation around this time is not great, but you're not too bothered by it. But let me take a look here. Can I get a clarifier for week 4? Yeah, I would say that this could be like including somebody in a group or letting them come back to society, or hang on for a second. I dropped my cards. Aw, actually, these are sweet as hell. So sweet. So I think that with you, that Mercury conjunct Neptune is not a bad thing. I think that you're going to do something incredibly sweet and incredibly compassionate. It looks like you're kind of helping. What the heck? In my mind, I'm just like, you're going to help a loser out. Like, that's not what I mean to say, but in my head, it was that like shouted in my head, like, you're going to help a loser out. Not like that, but you mean like and you could be the loser in this case. Oh my God. I'm so bad at this. You could be helping somebody out who is in need, who is down on their luck. But also, if you're down on your luck, somebody actually might come around and grant you a wish in a way. Like they may say, come stay with me, or come be with me, share your ideas with me. I don't think you're stupid. I don't think you're worthless. I don't think any of these things. So you could be that person who's saying this to other people, or someone could be saying this to you, saying, hey, you matter. You're important. That I will say that Sun in Aries is a very motivational sign. It's quite nice, actually. Like I personally love Aries. I think it's a great sign. It's really optimistic. It's got great energy. When an Aries is down, they don't stay down. And it's like their mood may be down, but it doesn't stay there. They always seem to bounce back and find something to be positive about. So I love this energy, but, so yeah, maybe this is you being that helpful, cheerful, motivational person. I mean, Aries is a good natural coach too. Like they're like a cheerleader, they'll support you and they'll push you and not egg you on, but like, they'll push you and say, go you. So maybe that's you doing this for someone else. But I'm seeing, uniting with someone else, because we have the Two of Cups and the Star. Healing, happy reunions, people coming back together, someone coming in from a situation where, you could have been separated, and it's like now there's things coming back together. And maybe it's coming from a place of idealism. Who knows? Maybe that's not a bad thing, though. It's not always, being idealistic doesn't necessarily mean that it's unrealistic. Sometimes these situations actually come together and things get better. It's hard to believe sometimes, right? That things do get better sometimes. Let me get these charms. What more detail can we get in the situation with the fourth week for group 3? Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, if there's a situation where there's justice that's needing to be done, you'll get it, and it will be in your favor. I don't know why the saxophone is here. Maybe there's some music involved, I guess. Or I'm thinking, oh God, what's the name? Psh, I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet, it got no rhythm. I'm thinking of the saxophone part to that. It's kind of sexy sounding. I'm not sure if this is like telling me something about the situation's tone. Brett, is it Brett? No, it's not Brett Michaels. Is it Brett Michaels? It might be. I don't know. I don't listen to him. I don't listen. In any case, though, but yeah, there's like stuff going on there. But with the key talks about freedom. It talks about truth. It talks about expansion. And this can also talk about truth and justice and things like that, because we have the Libra symbol here. This is talking about co-working, working together, co-creating, all that cool stuff. It's really fantastic and optimistic and hopeful. And damn, I want this week. I hope this is my reading because this looks wonderful. And even though Saturn is here, it does talk about, because I have Saturn here, but I also have the sign of Libra, and Saturn in Libra is actually really, really good. Saturn can do his very best in being discerning and measuring and weighing. And so, for some of you, maybe you're getting some advice from somebody and it's going to be like really, really helpful. The wisdom someone else is giving you can be freeing. See, this key is our freedom. It talks about secrets being revealed. It talks about the truth coming out. It also talks about being released from negativity or suffering. I love this. This is fantastic, guys. I like this a lot. And I'm sorry about my singing. Oh my God. What is it? Is that Careless Whisper? I don't know. Or, I don't even know. Never mind. Let's look at the, all right, never mind. I'm going to go over here actually. Sorry. I was like just touching my charms because I need the mental stimulation. So we've got for the 5th week, this is going to be going from the 27th to the 31st of March. We have Independence. This is Moon in Aquarius. And we have the 4 of Swords, which is kind of a slow, quiet energy. But I feel like it also could be an awakening for you. Around this week, though, we have Venus conjunct Saturn and Mercury moving into Aries. So we do have a more active Mercury, which is going to be more chatty, more talkative, more... what's the word? It's going to give you this will give you the energy to share things without a filter, maybe. You just kind of speak, kind of gives you the stream of consciousness thinking or speaking, so you can share your ideas maybe without really thinking about them very much, but which can be a problem sometimes, depending on what you're saying. But Venus conjunct Saturn, though, is nice because this talks about this practical, but not too practical, like practical, but judicious. No, what's the word? Diplomatic. Venus conjunct Saturn. They're not enemies. So Venus could be like, I think that we should really do that. And I think it would be really awesome. And then Saturn will be like, okay, I will be the one to determine this. And together we will make a great decision. It's like you have to throw a party for a workplace, basically. So Venus is there planning the party and running it by Saturn. And Saturn's like, okay, that makes sense. This makes sense. So Saturn will be the one to make the decisions on this sort of thing. So when it comes to, so it's like basically being very responsible about your pleasure, being very, very responsible about your interactions, your social interactions, and making sure that everything's fair. But it can also talk about, sometimes we don't give ourselves it can also talk about having to believe that you have to work for your work for love. Basically, you have to prove yourself to people to make them love you. You have to really go above and beyond for them to truly appreciate you, or there's nothing to appreciate. That's the mentality here. So it can talk about having, negative mindsets or bad self-esteem sometimes, and things like that could trigger those things up there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the most of it. Those could be very minor. If you have that natally in your chart, a Venus conjunct Saturn, maybe it'll dig those things up. For the rest of you, it'll probably be fine. You also have the new moon in Aries around this time as well. So it's the beginning of new things because it's in the sign of Aries. It's a great time to start a business probably, or a great time to start some kind of endeavor that could be very big. It's a great time for, planting crops and starting things, and it's nice. So it's a good way to end the month because I think it ends it on a positive note. But when it comes to you, I'm not, this Four of Swords is kind of throwing me off because it's such an active time, and I'm not sure if they want me to take the reversal here. Can I clarify this there's Four of Swords? Clarify the Four of Swords, please. Oop. Queen of Cups. Okay, maybe it's more reflective actually. I think that this is you maybe trying to get away from things. Queen of Cups is much more reflective. She can be a little bit more sad. I don't think that this may be a Venus conjunct Saturn, and maybe Mercury doesn't have too much of an effect on you really during this transit. But with this independence, with this moon and the Aquarius, it may be saying that, you may want to be distant from everybody else, or you may want to bring somebody into your life or into your home or something. You may want to actually, you could be planning something too here, though. You could be planning to have people in your home. Maybe you want to hold some kind of weekly book club or something like that. That can be something. It can also talk about you making plans and hopes for your future, your family, and for yourself. It's just a very reflective time for you, which isn't bad because a new moon, right? New moons don't manifest right away, obviously. Those are things that come later in the month. So when new moon hits, you want to start planning, make these, plan these desires and wants that you want. If you want to start a business, it may not be a big, exciting event to start it, but give it a few weeks and it could be, and you might start to see those things kind of coming together, your plans coming together. So it's okay if you want to start something and these cards are a little bit quiet. That just means that you're in the planning stage, you're in the incubation phase, so it's not bad. Can I clarify what's going on with these charms? Wow, there's a lot going on here. We have Libra, we have Scorpio, we have Capricorn, we have the bouquet, we have art supplies. So yeah, for some of you, you are planning some stuff like that. You maybe, and the thing is, this is like beautification, right? And we have Libra with the, okay, cool. Actually, we have Aquarius, we have Capricorn, we have Libra. All of these things have in common Saturn. Saturn is the exalted ruler of Libra and both of Aquarius and Capricorn. So there's a very Saturnian thing here. So this Venus conjunct Saturn thing is really kind of making sense. We do have like party planning here. We have, although we do with this Scorpio placement here, the Scorpio charm, it can talk about, maybe not trusting all the way what you're doing. Maybe that's why you have to bounce it off of somebody else. That's a possibility. This is the same thing with the Libra placement. You bounce things off of a Libra. That's what they're good at. Especially if you've got long-term plans, you want a different perspective. That's where you get your Capricorn innovative ideas, or not innovative, but Capricorn plans, and you throw it at the Libra. So like, it's kind of like that, like where you have these plans, you're bouncing it off of somebody else, you're inviting people in to show, maybe you want to share with them your personal, very personal, like hidden, we got secrets here. Maybe with Scorpio, they can be kind of secretive. Those hidden plans or ambitions that you have, you may want to share with somebody. And maybe this person that you share it with can help you put it together, because we have this very Venusian two things here about social things. The bouquet can talk about beautifying, making things pretty. It talks about surface level, superficiality, surface level aesthetics or surface level situations. So it's like not something that you really want to go too deep in about, but it could be something that's like requires crafting or something. So you could be seeing some kind of alliance or joining together with somebody to come up with an idea, and you may need their creative touch for it. Or somebody may be doing this with you where they're going to be using your creative touch on things. It's brainstorming mostly, I want to say, and it doesn't appear to be totally active. So I wouldn't say that you meet this person in person. You meet whoever it is in person to get this done. You could keep it remote and not actually keep it remote and not see them face to face just yet, because it's like, why meet up? Why go through the why travel to if you're only in the talking stages or something like that. So that looks pretty good. I'm trying to see if I can get anything out of this. So this, oh, by the way, though, this Queen of Cups could be an actual person that's on your mind or that you're talking to. This could be the creative person involved in this as well. Just because they can be very intuitive, empathic, wise, but they can also be kind of creative too. Artistic, that sort of energy out of them. I think it kind of leaves off as that, though. I think this is kind of a to be continued for sure for your month, because I think that this is definitely going to continue on for the next couple days after this. But anyway, that was your reading. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe on the channel. Put your number down in the description, or in the comment section, and come back and tell me if any of these things are going on for you, and if so, how. If not, also tell me that. I'd be curious to see which one of these works and which doesn't. Because of course, it's always good to get feedback for predictions. If you like my content, though, and you want to get a private reading with me, you can find me in my Etsy shop, and the link to that is down in my description box. I do written astrological reports, and I also do tarot readings if you're interested in that. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great March. Bye now.